A retired Special Forces soldier was riding his bike when suddenly a police car hit him on purpose. Instead of apologizing, the officers forced him to the ground with his hands behind his head. They accused him of being a car thief and quickly handcuffed him without checking the facts. But after confirming his identity, they realized he had done nothing wrong. Still, the corrupt officers refused to let him go. They searched his backpack and found $50,000 inside. He explained that the money was meant to bail out his cousin, who had been detained. But hearing this only sparked the officers' interest. They told him they could let him walk free, on one condition. They would keep the cash temporarily because they needed to investigate whether it was tied to illegal activity. He immediately understood they were trying to take the money for themselves, so he refused. The officers then threatened him, saying that if he didn't agree, they would arrest him for obstruction. With no other choice, he had to compromise. After all, helping his cousin was the most urgent matter. Later, he went to the station to file a report, but the chief's reaction left him stunned. Only then did he realize that the chief and those officers were working together. He wanted justice, but for now, he had to leave, because his cousin still needed him. He went straight to the courthouse in town, but without enough bail money, he was thrown out. Desperate, he called one of his close friends. Hearing his situation, the friend agreed to help but needed 3 days to prepare the cash. What he didn't expect was that the corrupt police chief found out about their connection. The chief shut down his friend's restaurant under a false excuse, leaving him unable to pay even his employees. For the retired soldier, this was a crushing blow. With no other options, he turned to a lawyer. The lawyer told him bail money was absolutely necessary and must be paid quickly. If not, the judge would transfer his cousin to prison. At the same time, the police dug into his background. That's when they discovered who he really was. A retired Special Forces soldier, skilled in combat, a jiu-jitsu instructor, and even the author of a crisis survival guide. Hearing this made the corrupt officers nervous, especially since he was already on his way back to confront them. He demanded the police chief return his money, but the chief smirked and pulled out a gun, ordering him to leave. Before the chief could act, the soldier swiftly disarmed him, unloaded the weapon, and held him in control. He didn't want to hurt anyone, he only wanted his money back. Fearing for his own safety, the chief handed over the cash. The soldier rushed to the courthouse and paid the bail. The staff immediately began processing the release. But no matter what, his actions inside the station were still considered illegal. Soon, officers came after him. He had only wanted to bail out his cousin, but instead, he was arrested on the spot. Even though he surrendered peacefully, they still used a stun gun on him. On the way to the station, the chief made him an offer. He would be released, but only if he agreed never to pursue the case again. Otherwise, he would be thrown straight into prison. Reluctantly, the soldier agreed. The chief even handed him hush money. But then came the devastating news. His cousin had been seriously injured in detention. Anger consumed him, but the chief coldly gave him 2 choices. Take the money and leave town, or keep fighting until he was locked away for good. When he finally saw his cousin, it was too late. His cousin had already died. Broken and disheartened, he decided to leave, knowing he couldn't win against this corrupt system. But as he drove out of town, a police car followed. They signaled him to pull over. Not wanting trouble, he stopped. Without warning, the corrupt officers opened fire. It was clear, they wanted him gone for good. He was hit, but he fought back with a stun gun, overpowering them and escaping in his car. Barely, he managed to get away. After everything, he realized one thing. Being silent only allows corruption to grow stronger. That night, he broke into the police chief's house. He didn't want violence, he wanted proof. He forced the chief to reveal evidence of their crimes. Afraid for his life, the chief confessed. The soldier then took the hard drive containing all the evidence, bringing along his lawyer for safety. But just as he was about to leave, corrupt officers stormed in and captured the lawyer. After they left, the soldier called the chief and arranged a deal, evidence for the lawyer's release. The chief set up an ambush at the meeting spot. But the soldier didn't follow their plan. Instead, he went straight to the police station, which was left unguarded. The chief was caught off guard and shot, but the soldier had only used blanks. By the time the others rushed back, he had already released tear gas to buy time. The officers, knowing his skills and fearing the smoke-filled chaos, dared not move in. What they didn't know was that he had already contacted an investigation team. When they arrived, the corrupt officers were finally captured alive. And that's where today's story ends.